But he reincarnated and traveled back to live with his family. Hence, no one in the city knew he was dead, as well as those in the village. The wind blew intensely, and the trees started shaking. The dogs in the compound began to bark as one who has seen a ghost. Ola wasn't bothered as she sings and enjoys the melody of her songs. As soon as she got up to leave, she sensed in her spirit that someone is watching her. She turned but didn't see anyone. She was frightened. Just that moment, a leaf fell off from a tree down to the ground. A man named Ade was murdered by his friends in the city and was buried. He got back to the village where nobody knew about his death, and he lived with his family. He was wealthy, built a house in the village. He made sure everyone is comfortable. But there is a mystery. Ade was dead, but his family members never knew. He had been betrayed and shot dead by friends he trusted so much out of jealousy. But he reincarnated and traveled back to live with his family. Hence, no one in the city knew he was dead, as well as those in the village, except those friends that plotted and have him killed. He loved and spent time with his family, so every moment he spent with them, he made sure they feel comfortable and lacked nothing. He has a frame hung on the wall in the city room, but the moment he got back from the city and returned to the village, he removed that frame from the wall and hid it. He always shed tears while alone, but none of the family members knew why he was always lonely and crying. He helped and established his younger ones in business, sent to school those of them that want to further their education to the highest level. He left home to the city to hustle and make money for the family. So when he died, he reincarnated and came back to the family to fulfill what he started. He told them he won't be going back to the city. Hence, he has the money now, which is why he left village to the city to hustle. So they agreed he would stay and establish a business here in the village. But none of them was able to find out about his death. When he has seen that everyone is comfortable, he decided to have his own family. Before Ade left this village to the city, he has always been fond of Ola. He loves Ola so much that he would take blows on her behalf. He decided to marry Ola, who has been his childhood friend. Ola never knew Ade was shot and has been buried. One afternoon, Ade decided to pay Ola a surprise visit. Hence, he hasn't done that since he arrived at the village. When Ade was almost close to Ola's compound to make his intentions known to his parents, the atmosphere in Ola's compound began to change. The wind blew intensely and the trees started shaking. The dogs in the compound began to bark as one who has seen a ghost. The barking of the dogs got so intense that Ola's parents began to sense something unusual. This is strange. What could these signs be? Ola's mother murmured. This doesn't happen always, and anytime it does, it simply means one thing. Does it mean a spirit is around? Why the signs? Ola was in the kitchen preparing porridge yam. She didn't notice any of the signs. Just as her parents were still wondering, Ade got close to them. He greeted Ola's parents. Immediately Ola heard his voice. She jumped out of the kitchen. Ade! She jumped on him and hugged him tightly. Ade was offered a seat, and Ola was asked to bring some pieces of yam from the pot for Ade. After eating, they discussed few things about the city and how life has been over there. Ado told them how everything has been in the city. He also told them that he won't be going back to the city again. Hence, he has made much money. He would rather establish a business here in the village. They talked and laughed. Ade made his intentions of marrying Ola to her parents. Ola's father agreed, but the mother was disturbed because of the signs that happened earlier. Ade got up to leave, and Ola was sent to see him off. As soon as they left, Ola's mother couldn't get everything that happened off her mind. She knew something isn't alright. Did you notice anything about our soon-to-be in-law? She asked her husband. No, Ola's father replied. Ola's mother suspected everything isn't alright with Ade. From that day, she kept a close eye on him, hoping to find answers to her questions someday. When Ola got back, her mother called her to a corner and began to tell her things. Ola, I know you love Ade and would love to spend your entire life with him, but there is something you must know. There is something strange about Ade, and that I am trying to figure out. Be careful whenever you are around him. I sensed a bad energy. Soon I will find out what it is. Ola's heart skipped. She became bothered over what her mother told her. One day, as Ola got up to fetch some firewood in the bush, she had a scary experience. The whole place was quiet, that you can only hear the whispers of birds. Ola wasn't bothered as she sings and enjoys the melody of her songs. As soon as she got up to leave, she sensed in her spirit that someone is watching her. She turned but didn't see anyone. She was frightened. Just that moment, a leaf fell off from a tree down to the ground. She got so scared. Just then, she turned again and saw Ade approaching her. Ah, Ade, so it was you all this while. You startled me. I was so scared. I am sorry if I did. Ade looked at Ola uncontrollably, knowing full well he would be leaving her soon. He controlled his tears. He doesn't want Ola to notice anything. They talked and left to their various homes. It was festive period, and that is the usual days when everyone in the city returns home to spend time with their loved ones who they left for a while. There were children and families praying around. Every street in the villages were busy with people, and there were heaps of merriment. The three friends who murdered Ade came from the same village with him, but different compound. The three of them planned and arrived the village to see and be with their loved ones. It was a cool evening. Obinna, one of Ade's friends who came back, decided to stroll around the street of the village and behold the beautiful nature. After the stroll, he came back. His family members asked him about Ade. They said that they haven't seen him around, and he doesn't cease to visit them or send them gifts, which is his normal way of sending his regards. But Obinna made up stories to cover up. They asked and asked, but all to no avail. Later, he was able to convince them that Ade will be back. Just that he is not yet back, as he has a particular day he arrives the village, which is always on Eke market days. Everyone was calm, waiting for the Eke market day. The Eke market day approached, which is always the days Ade used to visit his family members in the village from the city. Early in the mid-morning, Ade's mother felt unusual. She got up and headed to their sitting room. There, she found out that her son's picture is no longer there, and Ade has left with his younger sister to get some firewood, as it was a special day for the family, a day to marry. It is a season of merriment. Ade's mother felt uncomfortable and went in search of the picture frame of Ade, but she couldn't find it. Again, the clay cup she had in her hand fell off immediately from her hands and broke into pieces. Then she knew this was a sign, but can't tell what exactly it is pointing at. When Ade and her sister got back, the mother has already forgotten her experience in the mid-morning, as they talked and laughed. It was cool evening the next day. Olako, younger sister of Obinna, she was also a good friend to Ade. She decided to visit and see Ade, hence he hasn't visited them, and she knew Ade would be in the village by now. Olako got to Ade's compound and saw him having a good time with his family. Ade's countenance changed because he already knew what would come out of her visit. Of course, she would tell her people she visited me and that I am back to village. Perhaps his brother might be there, Ade said in his heart as his mood changed. He knew the time is ticking. Such a short time to stay. He was so worried. They had fun as usual with her friend Olak, though he wasn't comfortable. It was getting dark and Olako decided to leave. "I will be coming back to spend longer time with you," Olako said to Ade. "Don't tell anyone in the village that I am around. I need a quiet time with my family throughout this period. I would want to spend enough time with my family without anyone interrupting us," Ade says to Olako. Olako promised him and bade him farewell. Olako left and Ade's heart began to beat so fast. He wasn't able to sleep throughout the night. He was restless. He didn't trust Olako to keep what he told her a secret. "Ah, Olako, you shouldn't have visited," Ade shouted and cried bitterly. Ade's mother hasn't gone to bed. She was disturbed about the experience she had today, and immediately she noticed the noise coming from his son's room. She rushed to see what it was. Thank you for watching. Do watch out for the part 2 of this story. Leave a comment on the comment section. Let us know if you really enjoyed the story.